The following presentation is a Deej Experience production and may not be recorded, rebroadcasted, or retransmitted without the express written permission of Deej Experience LLC. For more information, visit us online at www.deejexperience.com. From the Rossbacker Studios, it is the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast, and we welcome you on in here. My name is Scott Lockwood. I've got a slew of guys with me again this morning, as we always do. We have the incomparable Mr. Dewey Hurd.
Woohoo. It's a good adjective for you.
The comparable.
That's a good descriptor.
We got Mr. Stephen Mountain with us as well, and we're joined here by a special guest, head coach of the Corey Beavers girls basketball team, Mr. Ryan Mumaw. You have to hold that mic up, Coach. And I don't have my ears today. We're kind of makeshifting today, as it's been a long week. But it's been a good week. Dewey, how's your week gone this week?
Oh, it's been fun. Been a fun week. We've had a couple of victories in wrestling. Got a lot of basketball in, and we got through the cold temperature, so we survived.
Cold temperatures. Steve-O, how you had a couple of Union City games this week.
Yeah, the girls, they played at home on Monday, I think it was senior night. Only one senior on the team, so kind of a young team, but got to honor her, Alyssa Leach, and they got the victory against Meadville. Varsity only game. I've done 4 or 5 games at home for the Union City girls this year, and only one JV game so far for them. So it's kind of unfortunate, but just low numbers this year, or illnesses, or what may have you. But they got that victory, so that was good. And then in wrestling, boys were home Wednesday, and they faced off against Conneaut, and they got the victory that night too. So good week over there.
Well, good. As always, our podcast brought to us by Dynasty Construction. I want to thank Josh Stein and the guys. So they finished the siding finally. And I don't know how they do it. They're out there in the freezing cold, hammer, nailing away. It was snowing and snowing and snowing. Those guys just motored right along. All that's left is the shutters and gutters. So, Coach, I had all that hail damage way back when, last year. So they're finally getting to the work to the house now because they were so backed up. But I'll tell you what, they do a good job. So we went from a light blue to a beautiful red. Nice. And black shutters, and be on here soon. So that's kind of it. But yeah, we started out Monday. We were at, was it Seneca? No, Fort LaBeouf. Oh, wait. See, my weeks are gone. When we get mid-season, it's gone. So we had the Seneca Bobcats in. Tuesday for the boys, we had Warren in, and that game was a mess. Warren is tough. Tough Warren Dragon team. Wednesday I had off because Dewey does wrestling, so that enables me to take a midweek breather because I probably needed it at that point. Thursday we were back at home, and then Friday we were at home. It's been all home games this week, so that's been the good thing of it. I didn't have to drive an hour to Conneaut last night, so that was always a bonus. That was a bonus. Always a bonus. You don't have to drive to Fairview or Conneaut or 20, 30 minutes is good. You get on that hour drive, and for some reason, it just feels like you're on a 14-hour road trip somewhere.
You don't think your audio's coming through very good, Scott. You're pretty quiet on the outside. That's what I hear.
Well, I can hear.
Okay, there you go. That's better.
There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So, anyways, we've got some stuff to talk about here. And I'm going to bring it up first because I haven't had a chance to do it yet. How about them Buckeyes? Come on, Dewey. Come on. Where's your Michigan stuff, Dewey?
Well, we're just going to say they didn't beat Michigan this year, so.
Or the last 4 years, is it, right?
It's quite a few years now. Yeah, last 4 years in a row. Yeah, 4 in a row.
4 in a row?
4 in a row.
So.
Well, you got some catching up to do there, bud.
Yeah, I know. We got some catching up.
You
to
got
do.
a lot of catching up to do.
9 before that was the other way. So.
Yeah. So, that was my happy football moment. I actually have a team that won a championship in football. So, it's been what? When's the last one? Craig Krenzel?
14? Was it 14?
Or 2014, yeah. I forgot about that.
Myers. Coach
Yeah.
Myers had one.
Yeah.
I think he beat Alabama that year, wasn't
Urban.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one after that, we got torched, I think, by Georgia. Bulldogs run us over. But, yeah, so I'm happy about my football team. Playoffs this week got to be interesting for the NFL. Washington. Where'd Washington come from?
I don't know.
Can somebody tell me where Washington came from?
It's like a Cowboys fan's worst nightmare, both the Eagles and the Commanders.
Yeah,
it
doesn't
NFC
matter for
championship game.
you.
Yeah, no, it's lose-lose for me regardless. So
I hear rumors of Deion Sanders maybe coming.
No,
too.
because they just announced last night that Brian Schottenheimer is the new head coach.
Oh.
So
I seen that this morning.
Marty Schottenheimer's
Is that
son.
Marty's boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you may be cooking. You may be cooking with little Marty ball.
Kind of feels a little uninspired to me, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
We'll
see how it is.
Get you to the championship game and then lose.
Well,
Yeah,
be better than we've
twice in a
last
row.
20 years. 29 years, I think,
like
since I've been
Buffalo's
alive.
going to do this week against Kansas City.
We'll see. Hopefully not. But
What? You're awfully quiet over there.
Well, it's going to be a tight game. You just got to have to see how it goes.
All right. Well, let's get down to business today because we brought Coach Mumma in. Coach, first of all, I'm going to start with the fall season because you guys work with the middle school teams, and there's some talented kids coming up. What's give us the rundown of the middle school season?
So, 8th grade we did well. It's been so long now, I don't remember the record, but we lost maybe 5-6 games. But the great way to end, we ended up winning the 8th grade tournament. So that was really fun for the girls. They just played hard all year. It was just a fun group. They work well together as a team. So it was just, it was fun to coach them this year. Looking forward to getting them next year as freshmen too.
So, most notably, Ava West, very talented. Comets is feisty. She reminds me a lot of Leofsky, just the go motor, right?
Yeah,
And
super quick.
Leofsky's a treat to watch, by the way. That Dewey, we talk about all the time. That kid just is 100%. She doesn't know how to slow down.
Yeah, she's like those
times. She doesn't slow down when she should. When she's taking like you see rush shots, or she's just go, and she's fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
guess she's like one of those old-fashioned wind-up toys with a wing, and you pull the key out and let her go, and there's no stop until it runs out of the spring, So, and that's how she is. She just goes, and she's got to learn to adjust her speeds at times. But that's what I kind of picture when I see her out on the floor. She just wind her up, and bang, there she goes.
Mm-hmm. And she's learned a lot already, but she can tell that she's a freshman. She's learning. She's learning the pace of JV. Getting her in varsity a little bit. She's learning that pace. So, but it's good every day in practice. She gets to go up against the varsity. So, it's helped her grow a lot this year.
Well, we came in the beginning of the season. I was a little excited to see what this team was going to do because you got Haley and Riley and that crew who are coming into their second year. A lot of varsity time as freshmen. One thing that I wanted to talk about, because I thought she'd have a more prominent role offensively, was Haley Elbers. And is it just teams that are kind of locking her down, or how's it going? Because I thought Haley was going to put up some points this year.
Well, like the first game, she came out, first game of the year, she had 14, and just and really kind of set the tone. I think it was 4 threes and then a bucket, or 4 threes and 2 foul shots, something like that. So I mean, I think it's tough, like being the point guard, because she kind of like sets up our offense. So we were able to get her looks. I think it's easier to get her looks when she's off ball. So like if Grace is bringing up the ball, so we've been trying to work with it. But I think it just depends on different teams. Like some teams, they'll kind of guard her and like kind of really take it, to point of like don't give her a 3 at all. So I think it just depends on which team is guarding her and how they're guarding her.
I obviously we know how talented she is as a player. Defensively, she'll shut somebody down.
Oh, yeah,
Like she'll take somebody completely. I can't remember what game it was. Was it? I think it was Seneca, where she took the leading scorer, and her and Grace both just shut down the main scorer. Like when we were at Fairview, you didn't hear much of Garrity. Defensively, they just shut people down, and that's what Haley's really, really good at, is defensive side of things.
Yep.
I love her to get them 3 shots, though, man. She can torch the net when she gets on fire.
Yeah, and that's one of the goals, is trying to get her open, to get her, at minimum a few looks each game, but the more we get her open, and then again, if she catches and shoots in rhythm, that's just high percentages going in.
So, Dewey, when we've watched games, we've seen a lot that we're getting looks. We're getting looks like crazy. The shooting percentage is just not there yet. They could hang with a lot of these teams if half of these shots would go in, and it just seems like dumb luck that it's not dropping. You can see the improvement from year to year. You go back 2 years ago to where they are now, it's night and day. It's night and day. Rob and I, when we're calling games, he notices a lot. We're still right-hand dominant. Is that something that you guys work on in practice, is dribbling left-handed or
Oh, yeah.
That's
Constant
because that's
finishing
it, because
left
everybody's
side.
guarding to the right
Yeah.
side, right?
Yeah. Everyone
So-
likes going to their dominant hand, but just trying to understand, like, if they give you left, take it left. And we have a lot of girls that will finish left, like finishing left. It's just it's you can tell we're still young. We have a lot of young talent still. But in terms of like right or left, if you gave them a choice, yeah, they like to catch the ball and dribble right.
I do too.
Yeah.
Like it very seldom
Oh, yeah.
would I ever go left when I never played, but I played like street ball or whatever once in a while when I was younger. Dewey, don't give me that look.
Duncan.
Yeah,
Yeah, his track
Duncan.
record in sports is not good.
with a 5-foot rim.
Nerf.
I forgot where I was going with this, but outside of the shots not falling, they're getting a lot of good looks, and it just seems like I feel like they're this close to one game that it's just clicking and stuff is just going to start falling. If they do, they're more competitive against Warren. They're beating teams that I felt like they should be able to beat. Seneca was one of them, right?
Oh yeah, we lost by 7 to Seneca. But again, that was one of, I told the girls, that was our first loss and scored, 45 points. So our defense keeps us in the game, most games, and it's just our offense, and that's our big spot where I'm hoping we can get outside and shots in the offseason where the difference with our X each game can we do up.
Seeing out side of the.
We at a point where we can play before people on actually run. Now we're the girls the ones. You know, we got to work finish the glass. Balls are off the window of clank or going and pull them. You know, improvement out and in the right direction. Just gonna.
So right, we AV a lot of energy, a lot of youth. See, Maggie Young, very nice. And enjoy watching. Already talking about me and the way go. I think probably proof of the year where she's driving one more. What JV on the road? If we're looking 2 years, what team look freshman?
Like,
yeah.
Oh, as long as everyone keeps the freshman important, you know, and like, you know, when she called it, not for kind of defense and, you know, defense. She's been all the room. And again, stops on her. Pick out, you know, a high percent out there to money mark. You know, there's definitely something out there. 3 points for Dish if they do otherwise.
Steve, a lot of
Not this year.
This year, a few games. What take on questions for?
I think they've definitely have a lot from what I wasn't around, you know, a few within the last year and this year. They've gotten each and every thing. Rob's comment a few different times, you know, head down and drill into it kind of thing. I feel like maybe a little bit better. I don't know if you would agree, coach, or not. Yeah, I think it's just, you know, slow improvement, and you know, these things time doesn't happen overnight, and you know, young still, pretty team for the most part, but slow steady.
So as forward here, so give me a through of what goes on with this, like workout and you ready for the next team to scout.
So, for a 7.5 hour practice, say the first 15 minutes, hour and a half, just constant like final. So, you know, we might do full court stuff, dribbling, partner dribbling, you know, walking up, a shot up, just pass, you know, like the full pad out, and we'll pound on the down low, trying to practice contact. From there, depends. We might have, you know, our physical trainer in Bloom, and she might, you know, sometimes take half the group. We'll go into the room, you know, work on goals, strength, work on strength, body strength. You know, that's all of our long-term goals, is to try to get stronger ankles, stronger knees, or upper bodies, to where we're, you know, avoiding injuries, avoiding, you know, ankle injuries, that kind of thing. And then from there, we'll work on offensive plays, you know, defense with those offensive plays, run correctly, getting our timing down. And, if there's a scatter going on, or like a practice before a game, you know, we'll watch game clips of that team. We'll go through each starter, who is going to defend them, what are the tendencies, what do they like to shoot, are they then from there, we might go out to the court and walk through some of their plays, specifically their inbound plays. So we're ready for those, and then from there we just scrimmage. If they go into the zone, we have our JV go into the zone practice. Going against that. There's a 2-3, 1-3-1, whatever.
So it's pretty strict regimen. It's the same every week. Did you kind of keep that same flow throughout the week? You got them like a system, a rhythm system, so it's not like, whoa, what are we doing?
Oh yeah, it's pretty consistent. I know, like this morning practice, we just had to be varsity only practice. We only ran it for about an hour and 15 minutes. Like a 8:45 to 10, and it was a specific shooting practice. So the goal is just to get up max shots, anywhere from layups all the way out to threes.
So I want to talk a little bit about the players this year, right? Sadie and I, one of the senior leaders on the team, we know about her, but this sophomore class, first of all, and that's just a lot of coaches who have kids on the team, because it's got to be kind of separate from the house, right? How do you set that at home? Like, here I'm coach, home I'm dad. Do you guys get it? Like, is there ever a crossing point where you're eating dinner and somebody brings up a play that went wrong, or how does that whole chemistry work between coach and dad?
I think since I've done it for so long, I probably started with her in second grade, way back in the day, like biddy ball, winter biddy ball, and then rec all the way up through junior high. So I don't think, it's pretty easy for us to, okay, coach had it, but then dad had it, so it's not really, with my daughter's not really a big concern, sometimes Riley, my son and I, we'll get, into it more where it's like, okay, this is just from a dad perspective versus trying to coach him up. No, Haley and I have never really had any issues with that.
Okay. All right. So you separate as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Well, she's got that teardrop shot inside the paint that most of the time goes in. Like, she's just a solid ball player. She's leading the Beavers in scoring this year. And it seems like whenever you talk about Haley, you talk about Riley. Like, they kind of offset each other. Riley is a rebounding machine.
Mm-hmm.
She is, and she's wearing my shoes because I get on her on the broadcast about not wearing the rainbow shoes. Those are the most awesome pair of shoes I think I've ever seen for basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know, but those two, and you can tell the chemistry when those two are on the court, right? It's that sophomore class. It's kind of like on the football field when you had Nolan and Mason and Will and Lesher.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the chemistry there. Does that rub off on the team, and because they seem to fit in with the seniors pretty well?
Yeah,
as well.
because last year was like the year of introductions, the juniors and the freshmen, and kind of, learning to, because it was the first time they were played with each other, so this year it's been a lot more fluid, they've adjusted to the seniors have adjusted to them, and I think it's a really good ebb and flow. They get along, so that's been really nice. There's great team chemistry with those girls. But no, it's fun. Like, the sophomores know, they know what each one is gonna do, each other, because they've played together. Gosh, some of them played together since third grade. So they've just grew up together, essentially playing basketball.
Well, it's fun to watch, and they play volleyball together, so I'm sure that kind of helps, right? So Sadie and Riley, they kind of flip in and out, but sometimes you have them on the court at the same time. How much flexibility does that get? Because we've seen Riley take it out on the point, right? Once, I think a couple games she was running point because Rob had commented on it, and Sadie was underneath. What dynamics do you tinker with? Like, do you tinker a lot with it, or
So,
do you try to keep it?
I like trying to develop like all around players. So like Nickerson, like I don't want to keep her in a box of you can only be a big. So I don't want you dribbling, nothing like that. I'm kind of like the opposite. Like, I told her like if you get a rebound and our outlets aren't open, you have the freedom. You're quick. Dribble the ball up the floor and let's see if we can get some transition offense going. So, I've given her the freedom of, yeah, you're a big and you're our leading rebounder, but you can also bring up the ball if you need. If you don't have an outlet, you can run the floor, and I trust her to do that. So, yeah, to me, I like all around, players.
We've seen a lot this year. And specifically Fort LaBeouf, Eisenhower, with the short rosters, right? They've got a very limited roster. We've seen the same thing with Meadville here last year or 2 years ago where their numbers are real down. And now basketball is going to have to compete with girls wrestling down the road. Is that going to affect the program or how? What's your outtake on that?
Well, I hope not. I mean, I know we lost, Coda, freshman to wrestling, but, it was the right move for her. She has always, like, grown up wanting to be a WWE, wrestler.
She's a baby beast.
Yeah, and she's always been, like, crazy strong. So, like, that was a move where it was like, I encouraged her to do it, and I missed her. Love to have had her, but I was like, well, no, you belong on the mat. Like, you're kicking butt out there, So, I'm hoping we don't lose, like, tons and tons of girls. But, it's good for the sport. It's good for the girls. It gives them another opportunity to, do a sport that they love. So,
and
that
now,
they don't even know if they like until they do it. So.
Right. And now there's an opportunity with college announcing that girls is also, like,
exactly.
professional. So now there's scholarship offers that they can get with it. So, that part I can see. What I don't understand is the whole flag football thing. Because it's not like there's a flag football college program out there, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of confusing to me. But the wrestling for the girls, I know Dewey doesn't like it for reasons of his own, but he likes... explain it, Dewey, because I can't... It's not that you don't like girls wrestling. It's the fact of other symmetrical forces out there, and
it's just personal preference, I guess, is what you want to call it. I just the positions that you get into in wrestling, I don't think it's appropriate to have young ladies out there on the mat in those positions. So, just a personal preference, I guess.
But. Anyways, so I don't know if it'll affect it much in Corey, right? Because we have, I don't know that the girls wrestling team doesn't seem to be, other than Coda, I think is the only exception to the rule there that wasn't playing basketball.
Yeah. Is Leah Mitchell? Was she on the wrestling team? I don't remember if she was on it or not. That would have been maybe one of our sophomores that we would have lost. I can't remember. I can't recall if she was a wrestler or not. If she switched over, but yeah, for the most part,
little kids wrestling. Yeah. I mean,
and we have enough athletes in Corey where I think we should be okay.
Yeah, there's plenty of kids to go around for to have both the basketball season and the wrestling team not having to fight for kids. I think there's enough girls out there that they can have full rosters for both, and then extras as well. So they just have to continue to get involved and be participants.
All right, Reagan Kemp. Let's talk about Reagan, leader of that JV team, but she's seeing more and more varsity time as we go along. She's an all-around athlete, right? Like she's just. And boy, you can tell when something don't go her way. She gets this little snarl and just. But she's a great player. How does she fit in going into forward with the sophomore class and this senior? Is she going to get more time down the road? Do you think, or?
Oh yeah, like she's, like even for like next year, like she's going to be, I mean, it's going to be such a smooth transition for her, varsity only next year. Like, I mean, it's going to be great. Every time I sub her into the varsity game, I have full confidence, whether I need to put her in as a big, like a 4 or 5, or whether I need to put her in as a 3, like a guard out there. It doesn't matter where I put her. I know I can put her in immediate contribution.
Kagan Rogers this year. I love watching Kagan come in. She's wearing the face mask, which to some people can be a little intimidating, but we know about the gash that she got on her head last year after taking a fall. But there was one game, and I can't remember who we played, but she really came in. She put up a couple buckets, and defensively, I think she took a charge. And was it her that took one on her game?
The charge was recent, yeah.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
It might have been the Seneca game. I've
never seen the girls' bench erupt when Kagan took a charge like she did, because they all got up off the bench, and the whole stadium, arena, whatever you want to call it, the whole gym was just on fire when she took that charge, and it was like, that's what we like to see.
Yeah.
Tim, of course, he loves a charge, but Kagan's just another one of those, I think, that flies under the radar.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and like when I see Kagan, like I love that she was the first girl to take a charge on the team, for this year, and I told the girls, like, if you want to see me jump up in the air and like cheer, take a charge, because those are game changers, so real excited about that. But Kagan's one where, like, I remember the one game, I think it was the second quarter, I don't remember who it was, but like she just went in and boom, went off and made like 4 straight buckets, 8 points in one quarter. And it was just, it's just getting her, whether it's getting her the opportunity to, drive in and do that like sky hook type thing that she does, just going in. It's just getting her that opportunity, or her being able to find that opportunity, within the game, and that's kind of the challenge for her. And for us is getting her able to either find that on her own or kind of forcing the issue, with the design play to get her, that kind of look.
Sadie Dine. I love Sadie.
Oh, yeah.
Sadie's just a happy-go-lucky kid, right? She plays very hard, though, and I think this year as a senior, the control she has, body control, ball control down low. She's making all the right plays, right? And how much is she passing down to Nickerson? Do they kind of work in that tandem where she's, hey, you got to do this? And we know Riley's acceptive to whatever she's going to say, but how's that transfer over? Because Sadie's gone next year, so Riley's the main, right? How's that looking like?
So they're always teaming up together. So they're always working on their post moves together, and like, hey, look, I can do this, and be like, well, I can do that, and they're so they're definitely feeding off of each other. But no, I think Sadie has grown probably the most out of all the girls, like especially the seniors, just because like Sadie's first year was as 8th grader. And that was my first year coaching the 8th grade middle school team. And, I mean, she came in, we're still explaining the rules. Fun little story. It was a home game. I don't know what it was, game 4, game 5. And Sadie had the ball. She was out on the wing. Girl, like, hit it out of her hand. So they're, like, frantically trying to get the ball. And Sadie kind of, like freaked out and just kicked it. And I turned around, I was like, oh, man, I forgot to teach her that you can't kick the ball in basketball, and it was just, like, I remember that story for Sadie, it was just.
It works in volleyball sometimes,
Yep. But it was just, it was funny, but she's always has a smile on her face. But from 8th grade Sadie to 12th grade Sadie, like, it was just night and day. Like, heck, even from last year to this year, like, her finish around the hoop is so much better this year than in years past. So, like, she's made tremendous growth from 8th grade to now.
All right, one more player I want to talk about. We're going to take a quick commercial break because we've got to pay the bills. So, Grace Allen, again, another one of them all-around athletes, twists her ankle in Eisenhower, and I thought she kind of got off to a little slow start this year, scoring-wise anyways. And then, boy, it seems when she come back, she's starting to feel it. She's starting to get into that, I'm going to take it to the hoop mode. And she's not her biggest change this year is she's not afraid to put up a 3-ball.
Yeah.
And she's been able to drain it a couple times this year, and that could pay huge dividends down the road if she develops that shot.
Oh, amen. No, so, yes, the goal for her and just the team in general next year is trying to be mid-season shooting form at the start of the season and not, how long it took us this year. So that's going to be the challenge. But yes, Grace lately has just been pouring it on, offensively, and like she kept us in the, Thursday's game, just because she scored 17 points, and because without her scoring, like we would have, instead of losing by 13, we would have lost by, however 20 plus, so
that game, we were in a heavy amount of foul trouble that game.
Yeah, well, that was.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just a weird, it was just one of those weird games, but everyone was fouling. It was.
Yeah. Were you there for that one, Dewey?
That was the Seneca game?
Seneca.
Yeah, I was there for that. That's where we had the early dismissal for one of the Seneca fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Early dismissal.
Yeah. We had a ringside seat for that one.
Oh, yeah.
And he was barking at the official about calling something, and the official turns around and says, you want to stay and watch the game? Yeah. Then watch the game. The ref turns around and he says, well, start calling stuff.
He called it.
Oh, yeah. Early next day.
So, no, it's been fun watching Grace turn it on this year, and she's such a dynamic athlete. It seems everything just flows freely with her. She's gifted in volleyball, gifted in now basketball, and track too.
Oh yeah, she qualified for stays in the triple jump. So
In
yeah,
the triple jump, I couldn't think of it, and I'm like, I know she does track. What does she do? But yeah, just a great all-around athlete. If she works on that 3 for next season,
Oh yeah.
I think. So I think I'll go back as far other than Haley. Taylor Elchinski, right, was that 3-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've had as many, and I think if somebody can get that outside, it's going to open that middle up for Riley and Haley and just. I'm excited to see where this program's going to go, and then next year we got Ava coming up and that whole crew and with Carolee, I'll get into it. We got to take a break. I could go on forever, but I want to talk about the coaching and the upcoming schedule here when we come back. You're watching the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. We'll be back here in just a few after this from our sponsors.
There'll be a lot of things that didn't get accomplished if it wasn't for Corey Community Foundation. They've just really been a driver behind improving the community.
3 of the organizations that I'm heavily involved with get assistance, get advisement, along with grants from the Corey Community Foundation. Without their help, there are many things in the Corey area that would not happen.
Organizations know that they are backed up, that they have somewhere to go if necessary for their funds.
CCF can help coordinate funds with other major donors and groups like ECRA and the Erie Community Foundation and helping us get grants, matching dollar grants. So it's a way to compound our impact.
It needs an organization that's trying to make things happen.
So by going through the Corey Community Foundation, it will ensure that our money gets put in the places we care about here within Corey.
You don't have to be a millionaire. You can leave a couple $100, you can leave a couple $1,000, you can leave whatever. When everybody pulls together, it makes a big difference.
Your money is long going to outlive you for the benefit and the good of the community. And so I have comforts in knowing that CCF, long after Brad and I are gone, is that we're still going to be able to provide value to Corey just by even giving a little bit to the Corey Community Foundation.
We think Ross Becker Insurance is a place for you and for your family, for your individuals, for your businesses, because we want to be your insurance advisor. We're local, we're knowledgeable, we have contracts with all different insurance carriers to customize and fit the right insurance program for your needs. We're here, you can come sit down with us, talk to us one-on-one, sit across from the kitchen table, sit across from our desks, and we can give you good insurance advice, how you can save money, where you don't want to save money and skimp out on coverage. And so we're there to help balance that and give you good insurance advice, good risk management advice. So after you have a claim disaster, you can have confidence that your family, your businesses, your cars, your assets are best protected.
I do this because I love it. I love working with my hands, I love working with people, I love watching things transform from what they used to be to what we can make them become. We are a full-service general contractor. We do everything from the ground up. We take pride in the fact that we don't use a lot of subcontractors. We have our own in-house masons, cement, roofers, siders, drywall finishing, electricians. This is our 20th year in business. Our employees mean the world to us. We couldn't do what we do without the guys that we have. And we take pride in the fact that most of the guys that have been here for a very long time. If you're looking to have a project done, feel free to reach out to us.
When you need health care, you deserve a health system that takes a whole-person approach to medicine for you and your family. Whether you need the expert care of our hospitals, the specialized knowledge of our clinical practices, the compassionate support of our behavioral health network, or our continuum of services for seniors, you can rely on LECOM Health. Founded in Erie, invested in Erie, advancing healthcare in Erie. LECOM Health, whole-person care for a lifetime.
Welcome back in here to the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. Scott Lockwood, Dewey Hurd, Stephen Mountain, and we are with special guest, head coach of the Corey girls basketball team. Welcome back in here, Mr. Ryan Muma. And Coach, I want to get into
Scott, you got
coaching.
music playing.
Oh, still music playing again. There we go. Sorry.
That's better.
I had the buttons wrong. I'm glad somebody's monitoring it today because, you know, I clicked the button on accident. My bad. So I want to get into the coaching staff here. When we had the boys in for the football team, I had that music going for like 15 minutes and nobody heard it. It was just in the background and it was a mess. It was a train wreck. But as is, I had to fix a million problems and... Boy, that was a rough week. I was up 24 hours trying to work on this thing. But anyways, I want to welcome you back here. Coach, I want to talk about your coaching staff because you know, we know a lot about Bill West and the history there with the girls basketball program. What's it like coaching with Coach West, and how much knowledge does he impart to you to help with the coaching of the team?
Oh, well, I love coaching, with Coach West. So, he will basically do anything I ask, and like his knowledge of the game, so he'll break down, scouting reports for us. He'll go scout teams. He'll offer insight into like, hey, I would like to do this drill. How can we set it up? And then boom, 5 seconds later, he's like, hey, 3 girls there, 2 girls there, 5 balls over there, so his knowledge of the game, just helps tremendously. So I just love him I always say he's the most overqualified volunteer, anyone could ever ask for.
A legend coach on the Corey floor. Now, that would make some people nervous, but his demeanor is very calm, collected, and I love it when I talk to Coach West anytime, whether it's in an email or because he's such a professional guy, right?
Yeah.
He's very well smooth spoken and always has the best of everybody in mind. So Coach West is awesome. So we know about his background. Tell us about Coach Kemp's background and how she got involved with all of this.
So we started coaching way back when the girls were in T-ball, you know, so like I was like, well, hey, you know, like, because I grew up with, you know, my dad, you know, he coached us in Little League and Pee Wees, and he was the junior high football coach at Cambridge for like 21 years, you know, so, and a gym teacher, you know, so all of that. So I kind of grew up with having a parent coach. So I was like, well, I love coaching, you know, I'll coach. So, you know, I kind of told her like, hey, let's, you know, I'll be your volunteer since you're the softball person. I only played baseball growing up, you know, like, you know, I'll be your volunteer. So, you know, we were, you know, Save a Lot coaches there forever for the girls in softball. And so, you know, fast forward, you know, kids are getting into 7th grade. So I need a junior high, you know, volunteer or like assistant. So I was like, hey, coach, you know, like, you should help coach, you know, you can help coach Reagan, you know. So that's kind of pulled her in, and, you know, she's been the junior high coach ever since. And then I was like, well, hey, I also need a JV coach, you know, so why don't you just, you know, come up through with Reagan and Macy. So, you know, that's kind of how I was able to rope her into coaching with me in basketball. You know, it just kind of started way back when the girls were, I think,
knee-high to grasshoppers.
7, 8 years, you know,
The
8
old
years
saying,
old.
yeah.
So playing T-ball.
One of the aspects that we talk about all the time is officiating games. We had the ejection from the game here the other night. We had the fight in Fort LaBeouf that broke out in the boys' game. The officials have a tough job. What is your rapport with the officials around District 10? And because there's got to be somewhat of a relationship there, right? Because there's times in a game where you're upset with a call. A lot of coaches, I don't want to say a lot, but some of the coaches will sit there and scream out, that's this, or this. How do you keep yourself level-headed just to go over and talk to the official and say, hey, what did you see here? Because this is what I saw. What are those moments like?
So, first off, like, kudos to the officials. You know, I had, like, Sadie asked me, he was like, hey, when you retire, you going to officiate? And I kind of looked at her like, heck no, you know? like, you know, so, you know, like I appreciate them more than I think they know in terms of, like, you know, we're thankful that we have officials. I know a lot of them are, you know, 30-plus year veterans. You know, I remember him as a ref when I played at Cambridge, you know, so, like, they're in it for the long haul. So I appreciate, you know, what they do. In terms of, like, trying to, like, question a call, I try to treat them how I would want to be treated. So, like, you know, a lot of times if I don't agree with it, you know, I'll kind of just, like, take a breath and then just be like, you know, hey, sir, you know, what did my player do wrong, or what could my player have done differently? You know, if I think there was a charge and it was a block, you know, I remember there was one, it was an away game. It was at Fairview. I think it was at Fairview JV game. It might have been the Christmas tournament, and one of the JV players I think it was Reagan, actually. She took a charge, and it looked like, I mean, everything by the book, it looked like a charge. And I asked, I was like, what could she have done differently? Because, I mean, from my angle, sir, it looked real good. And I was so thankful of his answer. You know, at the end of the game, he came up and he was like, hey, I kind of blew that call. It should have been a charge. And I was like, and he's like, so sorry about that. I was like, hey, no worries at all. You know, thank you for letting me know. And I thought that was really nice of him, just kind of being honest. And, you know, so I guess honesty, you know, whether they saw something different or whatnot, it's nice to get an explanation. So I try to ask as nicely as I can, like, either what could my player have done different, or, you know, what was the call, like what did she do wrong?
refs get a bad rap, right? Like they're the striped shirts.
Like they always say, half the gym's always going to be angry with them, and half the gym's always going to be, happy until the next call.
Yeah.
So, it's just part of the game. Call goes here, call goes there. So it's, we appreciate the consistency, and a lot of the refs that we have, day in and day out, I think they do a fine job.
Yeah, the Frasinas come to mind a lot. They're very heavily involved, and a lot of the others. And I like this junior official program a lot because it gives players an opportunity to come in and give back to the sport. And we've seen it in Oil City. They've got like 3, 4, 5 junior officials who now you're starting to see them come up through. When they graduate, they're on the floor reffing JV and varsity games. You start seeing that young age coming in and being officials, and that's good because our sports need it.
Yep.
And if you're one of them that are getting tossed out from the game, go take some classes and put on a shirt and do it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can do it better, please, by all means.
Yeah,
if
we
you
need
want
officials.
Practice, go do a rec game.
Yeah.
Go do a 4th and 5th grade girls or boys basketball game. Because it's tough.
It's a tough job, and we're so thankful for our officials, and they're human too. They have a rough gig, and we wouldn't be able to play without them. And there's times where I've had to pull back the reins on a bad call on the broadcast, and Dewey, you've had to do the same thing.
Yep.
And it's tough. They have a tough gig, and they have angles that we don't have, and we have angles that they don't have. And especially in JV, there's only 2 of them on the floor.
Oh yeah, and running 2 is hard, especially on a fast game. Like I look, some of those quick games are just back and forth. Like it's tough going with.
They're
2
running.
officials. Oh yeah,
they're running.
And they can't sub out, right?
No, they can't.
They're in there the whole time.
The whole game.
Well, they do have a whistle. They can stop the game and catch their breath. So.
I always said if I was going to be an official, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I'd be a volleyball official or a softball official. Not a whole lot of running. You can just stand there.
Easier on the body.
And, I would die if I was a football or basketball official. Steve wouldn't. Steve's a pretty. He likes running marathons for fun.
Half. I always got to tell you half, but yes.
Marathons.
Yeah, it does. But.
So, I used to try to be athletic when I was in high school, and I was picked on, and there's a backstory to why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But anyways, I want to get into the upcoming schedule because we've crossed the halfway point of the season. Our record could be better than what it was. There's a couple games where we could have and maybe even should have won, but we talked about the shooting percentage and all that. My expectations of the team, and again, it revolves around making those the bunny buckets, we'll call them. I think those start dropping. I would expect a better second half of the season going forward, and we get back to part 2 of these region games coming up. What are we looking at? What is your expectations of this team from today moving forward?
Just so I try to make sure our mental side is on point. So, like, my goal as a coach for them, keep them mentally in the game, even before the game. So pre-game prep, we want to make sure we are mentally in the game. We want to make sure we are ready for the game. We want to make sure we're going into the game with confidence, trying to keep the girls mentally strong, just shooting-wise. Like, next shot, next one's going in, just that constant reassurance of don't get down on yourself. If you missed 4 in a row, those don't matter because the next one's going in. So, I try to take a lot of that on myself to make sure the girls are in a good headspace, and then in terms of, my expectations for the rest of the season, yes, we want to make playoffs. Yes, we're hoping to make playoffs. But like I told the girls actually at the end of practice today, I told them, like, our defense keeps us in the game, but offensively, like, if we are on, like, we can hang with any team, so it's just getting them to believe that, believe in themselves, believe in each other, that's the big, I guess the big factor for me.
So we have coming up here, we have Harbor Creek on Monday. General McLean is going to be an interesting one on the home court because I thought for the most part we can hang with them had we made, and I think a lot of that game was foul shots. Was that the one? Because I know
it might have been. There was one where we didn't.
There was one where foul shots. If we would have made half of what we missed, we would end up winning that game.
Yeah, and we've improved our foul shots like the past maybe 5-6 games. We've shot a lot better from the line.
So we have Harbor Creek twice. We have to play Fairview again at home. We have Fort LaBeouf away, General McLean, and then we have Edgewood, which will be a tough one, right?
Home game. Well, we're unsure. I mean, that's our second to last game. That'll be a February 10th before I think we have to go to Harbor Creek. So we want to get that game in just to have a full schedule put in before playoffs. But no, like I do know, like we've told the girls this as well, like with getting moved from regions, from last year's region to this year's region, and having to move regions and stuff, like yes, we moved into a harder region, but I told them, like, this is only making us better, playing all these harder teams, like this is making us better. So like we even told them, don't judge the season on, like, oh, well, we had more wins last year than we do this year, and whatnot. Like, because we're playing better now than we did last year, so we're seeing the growth, we're seeing the improvement, and that's where we want to see telling the girls, like, we are better, and playing all these harder teams this year, like, it's just making us better basketball players faster, so that's the big.
And
big
too,
thing for us.
it's. Like Dewey and I, we say it all the time. Rob and I say it all the time. The passing is there this year. Like before, it was a struggle. It pass, turnover, right? But now the passes are on point. It's just finishing. That's been it's just been the problem. And you finish half of them, man. We're right in the thick of things.
Amen.
So, there ain't nobody on this planet right now that's pulling harder for these girls than I am. Maybe you and the parents, but outside of that, like, it aches me every time I see a ball go halfway down and then it rattles out, and I'm like, come on, what do they got to do to buy a bucket? Like, I'm the biggest fan there is calling these games, and I'm cheering so hard for them, and it's there, it's on the cusp, and man, if I can tell the girls anything, is keep your head up and keep plugging away because it's coming. You can see it. It's there, and it's frustrating to watch sometimes because, man, hit the bunnies and you're cruising. Like, you're cruising. So, it's been fun this year to watch it. Like before, I would say last year was fun, and I'd say the last year when Rob was turning the team over, Rob was kind of that transition coach, and you could see this team starting to turn there. You come and take the program over, and now this team is fun to watch and cover just because of the grit and the heart, and they just play really hard. We're pulling for them, and man, they start making these shots, it's going to get real interesting in Corey girls basketball.
Yep.
So, guys, anything else for Coach today?
Just keep it up. You guys doing a great job with getting the girls to be ball players, and the improvement has been quite evident for the last couple of years. So just keep at it. You're on the right track.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, seems like the girls play hard for you guys, and seems like they enjoy you as coaches. So doing a good job, and just keep it up.
Thank you.
So hoping for playoffs. Got to take care of business. Tough one on Monday against Harbor Creek. Always a solid program, Harbor Creek. It doesn't seem to matter what sport. Obviously softball, state champions, and congratulations to Coach Tim and his staff over there. But Harbor Creek will be a tough one Monday, but it's another measuring stick game, as I like to call them.
Yeah.
So good luck on Monday, and we'll take another break, and we'll let you get out of here. And the boys and I are going to talk a little NFL playoff football, and we'll pick them out when we come back right here on the Deej Peeps podcast right after this.
Welcome to Salt Church. We have been in existence for 16 years already, and the main purpose of even having this kind of a experience with everyone is to dive into the Word. We serve, we anoint, we live, and we train people to just be open to what God is doing in our lives. You are welcome here at Salt Church. We have services Sunday morning at 10:30 here in the sanctuary, but we also have breakfast at 9 o'clock and discipleship training in between the two. So it's a really happening place here on Sunday mornings. We also have life groups, men's groups, women's groups, youth groups, worship stuff. We have all sorts of things for the whole family. Come check us out. We'd love to see you.
Hi, this is Bob Brown from Corey Snap Fitness and our new facility. Hey, as summer is winding down and fall is coming around the corner, come in and check out all of our new equipment and fitness packages that we have here at Snap Fitness. Don't forget that we also have tanning, we have a walking track, and it's for beginners to the most advanced. We have it all. Come and see us at Corey Snap Fitness. My name is Bob Brown and I'm the owner.
I do this because I love it. I love working with my hands. I love working with people. I love watching things transform from what they used to be to what we can make them become. We are a full-service general contractor. We do everything from the ground up. We take pride in the fact that we don't use a lot of subcontractors. We have our own in-house masons, cement, roofers, siders, drywall finishing, electricians. This is our 20th year in business, and we started out with just a couple of guys with a cordless kit and a ladder. We've grown from there. We really try to focus on quality of work, quality over quantity. Things don't always happen overnight, and it takes time to make things perfect. We run our business like a business. Everything that we do is professional. With a phone call to us, we would set up a meeting for us to come out and meet with you, go over your project, what you are hoping to gain from it, the things that you want to see input into it, and then I would create a proposal. We would send it out to you, you'd let us know your thoughts, whatever things that we got correct, whatever things need to be worked on, and then we would grow it into exactly what you want. Our employees mean the world to us. We couldn't do what we do without the guys that we have. And we take pride in the fact that most of the guys that have been here for a very long time. If you're looking to have a project done, feel free to reach out to us.
A balance on a high-interest credit card, it's time to switch cards and save. Transfer your balance to a Corey Federal Credit Union Visa Rewards card and enjoy 0% APR for 12 months while you earn reward points. Current card holders must have $500 or more in available credit. This offer is good through January 15th, so hurry into Corey Federal Credit Union today. Corey Federal Credit Union is located in Corey, Union City, and Spartansburg. Online at coreyfcu.org. Some terms and conditions apply. Membership eligibility required. CFCU, federally insured by NCUA, equal housing lender.
When you need health care, you deserve a health system that takes a whole-person approach to medicine for you and your family. Whether you need the expert care of our hospitals, the specialized knowledge of our clinical practices, the compassionate support of our behavioral health network, or our continuum of services for seniors, you can rely on LECOM Health. Founded in Erie, invested in Erie, advancing healthcare in Erie. LECOM Health, whole-person care for a lifetime.
And welcome back in here to the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. Scott Lockwood with you. We had Coach Ryan Mumaw of the girls basketball program. It's always nice when we get the head coaches involved with us, guys. We'd like to have it for Northeast, Union City, or whatever. So if you're out there watching by chance, want to be on there, we'll come to you, right? We don't have to do it here. We can go to the schools and have a little powwow and talk about other sports and other teams. And it was nice when we had Taylor Pollock in here last year, right? Fairview Tigers softball player. So any students that are playing on college and want to come in and have a little chit-chat, we'll talk about your high school career. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Heck, we even have bull riders come in, and it's fun. We can do whatever we want on the Deej Peeps podcast as long as we keep it within the guidelines, Mr. Hurd.
Yeah.
So, NFL.
Notice how he specified you.
Yeah, you.
Signal me out for that one.
You have to keep him under control, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
All right, what do we got in NFL action this week? 2 games on the slate, correct?
Yeah, the NFC and AFC championship games.
Washington Redskins taking on the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's tonight.
And what time is that tonight?
No, they're both tomorrow.
They are tomorrow.
3 o'clock.
Really?
3 o'clock for the NFC game and 6:30 for
championship weekend is always on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh. So, I thought they were having one on today.
You know what? I'm taking Washington. At this point, why not?
Well, the two teams did split the 2 games earlier in the year, so it's going to be a fun one to watch. And I don't know. I've always go with the home team unless something tells me that the away team's going to pull it out. And I don't know. I like Philly in this one. I
don't know. I would prefer the Commanders win just because I like Dan Quinn, kind of like a second shot at it as being a head coach kind of thing. It worked out okay in Atlanta, but fell off, and he was with the Cowboys last 2 years. But
that's why.
Yeah, and Cliff Kingsbury, he coached at Texas Tech. I'm a big Texas Tech fan. He's their offensive coordinator, so I'm rooting for the Commanders, but I have a feeling Philadelphia is going to win. So,
I'm taking Washington. You know who else I'm taking?
Chiefs.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I'm going for the upset. I can't stand Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and how they put them in our face and down our throats every single week. Enough already. It's football. I'm tired of hearing about Patrick Mahomes. It's like the new Tom Brady.
Yeah, for sure.
Go Bills.
I want the Bills to win too, but it's going to be a tough game. I think it'll be a real close game. Probably going to come down to whoever has the ball last.
Whoever pays the official more, right?
Well, yeah, there could be that too. Could be part of it. But I don't know. A couple of those hits, those quote-unquote hits last week against Mahomes were a little sus,
Yeah.
But
you won't find them calling them against Josh Allen, will they, Dewey?
Well, just the one thing that I've heard over this past week that I really agree with, and unfortunately it's getting to the point where they're going to have to do something. The NFL needs to initiate some kind of a dive, like they have a diving call in basketball or a diving call in hockey. These quarterbacks, as they go out of bounds, they embellish or they flop out of bounds and try to get the call. And sometimes you see it, not just quarterbacks, but you see offensive linemen or defensive linemen in the middle of the field, and all of a sudden their arms go up and they go down on the field, and nobody's touched them like that. And they fall over. It's like, really, did that get you to go over? But you can't block when you're on the line. But anyways, that seems to be a little bit more embellished, trying to get the officials to catch something out of the corner of their eye and then get a free flag out of it. So just it's going to be a tight game. It's like Steve says, it's probably going to come down to whoever has the ball last and can drain the clock. And you can't leave any time on the clock. You got to have the last play of the game be the winning play of the game.
So you're taking?
I'm going to go with Buffalo. Kansas City has played on the edge all year long. Buffalo beat them by 9 back in Buffalo. It's going to be a different team, as both teams did not have key players in that first matchup. But I see Buffalo being able to get back what they didn't have in that first game and take care of that home field disadvantage.
Where was the first game played?
It was in Buffalo.
It was in Buffalo.
It was in Buffalo.
GEHH Field, whatever it's called.
No idea.
Highmark
Highmark
Field.
Stadium, I thought. Yeah.
Oh, is it in Buffalo?
No, the game is at
It's at Arrowhead.
At Arrowhead.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's not Arrowhead anymore. It's GEAH Stadium or whatever it is.
It's
yeah,
Arrowhead.
GHA.
GHA.
GEHA Field.
At Arrowhead Stadium.
Right.
Oh.
I just saw it on the screen. That's
all right.
It's there.
Just like Acrisure Stadium or in Pittsburgh, whatever.
Heinz Field.
Yeah.
Free agency's hitting, and pretty quick it'll be the Cleveland Browns signing another massive contract to somebody that don't deserve it. I can't wait for the offseason to start.
A lot to look forward to, right?
Oh, yeah, always. And
the
let's
biggest.
not forget, we're all moving to Brook Park in a big dome.
You know, the dome would be cool, but
Can I
it takes a lot out of the game.
Express my displeasure with the Cleveland Browns management team, and we'll start with Jimmy Haslam and work our way all the way down that list. They all need to go. Sell the team to somebody who really cares and wants a winning football team. I'm tired of this. Every year. We were on the cusp. Oh, let's get rid of Baker Mayfield and let's bring in this guy who does absurd things in massage parlors and waste money on him, and let's throw the whole team down the sink. And the next thing they're going to do is they're going to chase Myles Garrett out of town. Mark my words.
Got to rebuild, right?
I was just going to say that's going to be probably the biggest concern, at least on my book, for them.
Make me mad is Pittsburgh is probably going to snag him up.
That would be the worst
Could you
outcome.
imagine?
Yeah,
could you imagine?
Or Baltimore.
T.J. Watt
Yeah.
and Myles Garrett on the same football team.
That would be insane.
Would not be good.
That
would be good for a quarterback playing against them, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
T.J. Watt on one side, Myles Garrett on the other. Who are you going to block?
Well, you
can't double team both of them.
You
can't chip both of them.
You also have Mack that'll be in free agency, and I think Bosa out of L.A. is going to be available as well. So a lot of good defensive guys going to be on the move this offseason.
What I want to know is who's going to be the Browns' quarterback next year, because Watson's done for the year already. So that's
Achilles,
a plus.
Right?
Yeah, he redid. Not that I want to see him hurt or anything, but the way his performance has been, maybe it's best he take another year off. At this point, I think Cleveland could find a way to cut him loose or turn him loose or whatever, but I would be ecstatic if the Browns went out and got Kirk Cousins.
I like Kirk. I'm a big fan.
I thought they should have got him the first time he was available.
Yeah.
And instead, no, we can't do that. So.
And I don't think there's any quarterbacks in the draft that'll really light your world on fire.
No, there's
in my
nobody
opinion.
jumping out on.
Sanders is fine. Ward is fine, but they're not.
They're not. I don't feel there's a number one pick.
No.
That you can take.
There's no franchise guys out there that you're going to hang 20 years on or 15 years on and say, hey, this guy's going to be here year in, year out for 10 plus years.
So the situation Cleveland's in, Gardner Minshew, Kirk Cousins,
Daniel Jones,
Russell
maybe.
Wilson, or not Russell Wilson, Geno Smith. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, one of those guys maybe. I don't know. It's another quarterback to go on that long list of jersey that you see. Just throw another one on there.
Yep.
Just throw another one on there. They're going to run out of trees pretty soon. Not enough thread in the world to put all the quarterback names on the back of that jersey. So, anything else, guys? Got any other sporting events? Anything major going on? Hockey season, Dewey, where are we at, Nat? We're getting mid-season crunch here, right?
I've given up on the NHL this year. Just
already?
Well, we were supposed to do a little bit better this year, but with injuries and we had a 13-game or 14-game losing streak there, just kind of derailed us. So
typical Sabres.
I don't watch a whole lot of hockey,
I don't watch
I don't blame
at
you.
all anymore.
I mean, it's fun to watch, but
and the reason I don't watch anymore is because every time I watch, we lose. I'll be watching wrestling or a movie with a wife or something, and I have the notifications that pop up on my TV. Columbus beats the Maple Leafs 5-1. Why can't you do this when I'm watching? Like, that would have been a fun game to watch. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's going to about wrap us up for today then. If you're done, I'm done.
Yep, we got boys wrestling coming up this a weekend from today.
Yeah,
So
playoffs,
next weekend
right?
we'll be down at the Sharon District 10 team duels, and Corey seeded second. Has a good shot of making it down to Altoona this year. So we'll see what happens.
Wednesday that week, Union City will wrestle Fort LaBeouf in the first round. Should be fun. We should have that covered, I believe, right?
We should. I'm still waiting to hear back from PIAA.
Gotcha.
But the intended coverage will be that LaBeouf and Union City, and then whatever happens with Northeast and Corey down in Sharon, we'll cover all that as well. I don't know if Northeast will get by General McLean, but whoever wins that match gets the privilege of playing Cathedral Prep, and that's not looking bright for anybody. So Cathedral Prep, a juggernaut on the wrestling match this year.
Yeah, they're down from AAA this year, so they'll be in AA for not only this year but next year as well, and they're all the way up to 4th in the state ranking. So good representation by Cathedral Prep for District 10.
So we'll see how that goes this week. Busy slate of schedule. We all get Wednesday off. That'll be exciting.
Wednesday is the wrestling match against Fort LaBeouf. Union City at Fort LaBeouf.
Right. You're not off.
No, it's a busy week. Monday, girls play. The Union City girls play home against Northwestern, so that'll be fun to watch. Michaela Presser-Palmer, right?
Yeah, good
I think
luck
they're
with
undefeated
that.
as far as I understand.
Yeah, they're wiping the mat with a lot of teams this year, and a lot of it is because of Presser-Palmer, D1 talent out of Northwestern. She is fun to watch.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun one. And then on Thursday, the girls play home against Seneca. And the boys basketball team, they play home Tuesday against Mercyhurst Prep.
So you got a busy week.
Yes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, sure do.
Which means you got a busy week in Corey. So for the Beavers, we have the Harbor Creek Huskies in the house on Monday. On Tuesday, if I get my handy-dandy calendar out here, the boys will be at home against Oil City. Wednesday, Corey is off. No wrestling. They get a bye. On Thursday, it'll be General McLean playing the Lady Beavers on the home court. All these home games for the Beavers this week. And then on Friday, it'll be a home game between the boys basketball team, Corey versus Seneca. A lot going on. Enjoy Wednesday off, Dewey. You're busy the rest of the week.
Well, I was just going to ask Steve if he wanted me to come help him do the match on Wednesday.
Oh.
Take
you won't get a word in edgewise.
That's fine. That's fine. You or Jack or somebody, yeah. Doesn't matter.
All right.
If you're offering, yeah, absolutely.
Just saying.
It'll
be fun.
Pay him?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll work that out.
I'm just messing with you. But yeah, so busy week on the sports stream this week, and I know Billy's got a full slate over there in Northeast. Boy, I wish Billy could join us here on a podcast or two.
I think he's doing a game right now.
Yeah, he is doing a game right now. In fact, I gotta run over when we're done here. So, so yeah, tune in to the Deej Experience Sports Stream all week this week. Got a lot going on. For Mr. Stephen Mountain, Mr. Dewey Hurd, I'm Scott Lockwood. Thank you for watching. Thank you for Coach Ryan Mumma for joining us. You've been watching the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. We'll see you next Saturday with a new special guest and all of us bringing all the fun to all of you. Until next time, God bless y'all. Have a great weekend.